Hi, my name's Dee, and this is Emma,
Hello.
and we are Switchblade Sisters. We're two sisters,
Yay.
well, two friends, sisters from another mister, two sisters, two friends.
Want to start again?
Nah, fuck it. Two friends exploit their worst fears for your entertainment. Is this entertaining? I'm not sure, but we have listeners, so let's go.
We do. We have
First of
sexy
all,
listeners.
we have sexy listeners, and to those sexy listeners, I would like to wish them a happy new year.
Happy New
Happy New
Year.
Year! Let this one not be as shit as the last,
Yeah,
is what I say
2025 is
every
going to
year.
be the year. 2025 is going to be our year. I just
All
know
right.
it. I
Because the
know
last
it.
couple of years, the last few years, the last decade has felt trying and testing, hmm, to put it
Yes.
lightly.
Yes.
Um, but
We've
at
got lots
least
of
we're
exciting things to look forward to, though.
we do. We have a whole series of events and everything lined up, and we're super excited. Got plans in the fire. Is that where the plans are? I don't know. Um, but one thing I will say is at least we are not this guy, because Emma, we've had a comment on our YouTube channel,
Which video?
Trump.
Oh,
So a couple of weeks ago, we had an episode come out called Wait, There's More, Donald J. Trump, which was totally appropriate for a true crime podcast, it seems. And that's because we are depressed about the US elections and what that means for the world. So we posted that on our YouTube. All of our podcasts are unedited on our YouTube channel if you prefer to watch our faces. It also means you get to see when we share our screen, when we've got pictures and so forth. Um, so this guy, Joseph, he's easy to find. He's not worried about his comment being private, but his name is Joseph. So this is the comment he's left on our Trump episode.
I'm
Uh,
actually a bit scared.
Needless to say, for those of you who haven't listened, we weren't pro Trump.
No.
Obviously, we were very anti. He says, lol, it's okay because I, for one, am super excited. I can't wait for all the amazing changes that Trump is going to make. And think about this, ladies. Trump is going to get at least two, maybe three Supreme Court justices. That's what we're afraid of, which means that the Supreme Court is safe for at least another generation. Oh, hooray. Because as we talked about with Lou on our episode with Louis Ferranti, judges can stay in their position until they're 150 years old. I continue with the quote from Joseph. Elections matter. Yes, agreed. That's our one point that we agree on. And he says,
Yep.
but then he says, and the oligarchs lost this one. I presume he means Russian, but I mean Trump is basically an American oligarch. So carry on. He carries on. Don't worry, because in spite of your grousing, we're gonna make America great again. Vance Ramaswamy, 2028. Oh, okay. I need to Google what grousing means because I don't know whether we did
Yeah,
it.
I don't know what that means either.
What does grousing mean? I presume
Slagging
it's
off.
highly offensive. Complain about something trivial, grumble. Oh, oh,
I
Joseph.
mean, none of that was trivial, and none of that, we weren't really complaining. We were just
Oh,
setting out the facts.
yes. And I am complaining. I am okay admitting that I am complaining that Trump has got elected. Oh, it won't surprise you to know that he looks like a middle aged white man.
I assume he's American as well.
Well, grousing.
Well, that's got your back up.
That and the weird thing is, has he listened to the whole of the fucking episode?
Wow. And is he one of our normal listeners, or did he just, I don't
Fuck
know, Google
no. There's
Trump or
no way.
something?
He's probably Googled Trump on YouTube and watched it and found us in that way because I seriously doubt he's one of our regular listeners. And I'm not surprised he hasn't applied to date us. But if he ever does, can I give him in advance a negative
No.
10?
-10, yeah, absolutely.
He wouldn't like all of our grousing, anyways, about political
No,
issues that
we do
affect
too much of
us.
that.
Jesus Christ, grousing. Whoo. Calm down, D.
I mean, on a polite note, obviously he's entitled to his opinion. his comment doesn't really say anything.
I mean, all
So
the things he listed as positives are exactly the negatives that we're scared of. So we just clearly
yeah,
have very differing opinions.
yeah,
Okay. Okay, Joseph.
you do
Um,
you.
yeah, and we mean that offensively.
Yeah.
With respect, you do you, Joseph. Okay. On that note, do you want to tell us about some crimes? Because it's your
Yeah,
turn.
it is my turn. Okay. So the crime I'm going to tell you about today, I researched it and then I was like, damn it, I should have kept this for our Valentine's um murder on tap that we do. Anybody who doesn't have tickets need to get tickets.
Yeah.
But this is a murder on Valentine's Day.
Oh, nice. Well, you can still do it
This
on
is
our
true.
Valentine's Day event. Go on.
So
I'm ready.
it's you're ready. Get ready. It's 2005. As I said, it's Valentine's Day, and we are visiting Hull. And
The romantic city of Hull.
so romantic. I mean, I can't really say that I've never been to Hull. I don't know if you have, but I haven't.
No, but you know what? I'm going to Google image it. Hull. Oh, Google filled in hullabaloo. That's not what I was looking for Hull. Actually, pictures online make it look quite nice. Let me share it.
Okay.
Sorry, Hull. My apologies. Looks quite nice.
Yeah. Oh, is it on the river?
Some
Yeah.
kind of port situation there. Yeah.
Nice. Okay.
Okay. Take it back.
So this is a story about I literally nearly went into Fresh Prince.
And here's a story all
Story
about
all
when.
about how. Yeah.
All
My
about
life
Hull.
got my life got tipped turned upside down. Yeah. Sorry about that little interlude. So this is about a 22-year-old lady called Joanne Nelson, whose life was unfortunately cut short in an act of domestic violence that shocked her family, her friends, and the wider community, as you can imagine.
Mm-hmm.
After an innocuous argument with her fiance, Paul Dyson, about laundry, yes, about laundry, the dispute escalated into tragedy, which led to her murder.
Oh,
I know. And she was only 22.
I'm gonna hate this, aren't I?
Yeah, sorry.
Mm-hmm. Prepared.
So, okay, trigger warning.
Mm-hmm.
So the day after Valentine's Day, so 15th of Feb, that's when people started realizing that she was missing. And she was known as a popular, caring, and loving woman, but she seemed to have actually vanished without trace. And obviously, as they always do, they looked at her fiance. So this is a guy called Paul Dyson, and the police were working on the basis that he'd left her at home. They'd exchanged Valentine's cards, and he had then left her at home and gone to work, and he hadn't seen her since. So she'd been living with Paul Dyson for several months at the time of her death, and had met him when he was working as a doorman on bars and pubs in Hull. Their parents, or her parents, didn't want them to live together without being married. And this is 2005, so feels quite conservative, but there you go.
Mm-hmm. They might
So
just not have, they might have been clutching at straws and not wanting them to live together.
yeah, I think you're probably right. So to get around that, they moved in with Paul's parents. And they then, after a while, I think maybe their parents got used to it, but they then moved to the city's Cottingham district. And basically, she had no idea that Paul had a bit of a dark past, and he had previous criminal convictions, including the assault of his ex-wife on their wedding night. But he also idolized his father, Peter Dyson, who had a murder conviction against his name. Yeah, so
I was
she knew
gonna
nothing.
say she was living with him and his parents didn't tell her.
No.
Like he
I
must have
think,
told his parents, don't tell my new girlfriend that I beat up my girlfriends.
yeah, I think to be fair, it was just his mum. So I think his mum and his dad were separated by that
Oh,
point.
right, okay. But
But yeah,
still,
still,
she must have known.
she would have known. Yeah, that
And I'm
obviously,
presuming if he's got an ex-wife already and convictions and this, that, and the other, that he's older.
yeah, he's 31.
Okay.
So what, there's 9 years between them.
9 years, which isn't the like, you see bigger age differences, that's not a big deal, but there is a huge difference between 31 and 22, isn't there?
Yeah, there really is. And he also had a kid by his ex-wife as well. Um, so his late father, so yeah, that's why, sorry. That's why his father wasn't around, because he was dead. Um, he had served 6 years for the manslaughter of his wife's lover, who he stabbed in a fight in 1967.
So
And
this
he was
is
also,
this is Paul Dyson's mum.
yeah, so his mum was obviously having an affair, and his dad stabbed her lover to death. Happy
Why?
family.
Jesus.
He had he had also it been involved in a fatal hit and run accident after visiting his then 2 year old son in, sorry, he had also been involved in a fatal hit and run accident after visiting his then 2 day old son in hospital. So that would have been Paul. Yeah, so he sounds like he was a really nice guy.
Jesus.
Apple doesn't fall far from the tree, does it? So basically, everyone's thinking, well, then he inherited all of his dad's viciousness, in effect. And Paul was a martial arts enthusiast and one-time bodybuilder. And he had attacked, like we said,
Steroids.
his, yeah, he had
Roid rage.
roid rage. Yeah. He had attacked his ex-wife, who is a lady called Jenny Clark, on their wedding night, and was also violent with her on several other occasions. And he had once throttled her unconscious, which is ironically what happened to Joanne. Um, so of around his father, um, this Miss Clark, as we call her, Jenny Clark, who they had a 5 year old daughter by that point, had said that he was very troubled when they had met. Um, she had basically had enough after a year and a half of him. And she said she knew the first time she saw Joanne that she would have difficulty standing up to him because he was such a bully.
Did he
And
serve any time for attacking his ex-wife?
don't think so. But he did have a conviction, but it was maybe a suspended sentence or something. Um, he she also said that he had only told her, this is the first wife, about his dad quite a long time after they had met. And he had said about his dad, well, my dad did the time and paid the price. And she said she didn't know what to make of it. And it was a real shock, because obviously
Yeah.
to murder someone,
How
your
would you?
stepdad's, yeah, your father-in-law is a murderer.
And
Awesome.
yeah, he did, in theory, go to jail and do his time. So what do you do with that, you know?
Yeah,
I suppose you hope
exactly.
that they're rehabilitated and whatever. I don't know.
Yeah, does sound like he's got a very violent streak though. So back to Paul and Joanne. Um, as I said, they became embroiled, good word, in an argument about housework. I think basically he was a bit of a lazy fuck. And whilst the details of the argument are unclear, it's believed that tensions had been building for some time in their relationship. And what was intended to be a simple disagreement over domestic chores spiraled out of control, triggering a violent outburst from Paul. And I think the police said later on that he had admitted that she had said to him, "You don't even know how to use the fucking washing machine." And he had like, "No, I didn't."
I
So
mean,
yeah,
there's a lot to unpack there. First of all,
yeah,
if you're a grown adult, It'd be really good if you knew how to use a washing machine.
We should probably have that on our dating application.
Do you know how to use basic appliances in the kitchen?
Yeah.
Yeah. I also want to put in there, do you have tattoos? Tell us about them.
Yep.
Why not? Yeah, we
And
should mix up the questions.
yeah, do you believe that tattoos have to have a meaning, or can you just get random shit tattooed on you?
Please say yes to the latter. Um, but yeah, so that is what they were arguing about then, huh?
Yeah,
Mm.
really not good. So obviously the argument escalated and his temper became uncontrollable. In a moment of rage, he attacked Joanne, strangling her with such force that he killed her. And the nature of the injuries indicated that she had suffered not only physical violence, but emotional abuse. And a
We've
pattern that,
talked about it on this a few times, sorry, that it is very difficult to strangle someone by accident, even if you're doing it during rough sex or whatever. Like,
yeah,
it's very, very difficult
yeah.
to strangle someone by accident. And this wasn't
When,
even sort of semi-consensual, slightly rough play. This was
no,
totally unconsensual. So it's a
yeah,
no.
definite no. And obviously, if he's martial arts expert, bodybuilder, roid rage,
I mean,
he's
we're
going to
making
kill someone.
assumptions about the roid rage, but he's
Mm,
definitely going to be a strong individual.
exactly. And by all accounts, what everybody said about Joanne is that she was very slight. And I do actually have a picture of them, which I will share.
Oh, I'm going to hate him.
Um,
I'm going to hate him.
I have a picture of both of them actually. Scroll down.
Oh my God, she is tiny and she looks like such a child. Like she looks so young.
Yeah.
I mean, the
And she
pigtails
looks
are contributing to that, but she is definitely.
blonde, blue
Oh.
eyes. Yeah. Only 22, bless her.
And that photo of him,
I think that might have been his police.
I
His
say,
police mugshot.
it's a really unflattering picture. It's
Yeah.
like we need a picture that shows him at his evilest. Oh, here we go.
Yeah, there you go.
Yeah.
Okay. So, uh, oh, sorry, just bringing my notes back up. Um, so then, then things get fucking nasty.
I was
Because
gonna
you
say
know
he's already
John's
killed
really
her.
nasty. Yeah,
Yeah.
exactly. But so he then got rid of her body, which I will go into in more detail in a second.
Great. Can't wait.
Got home and called the police and said that her disappearance was completely out of character, and then joined the door-to-door search for her with worried members of her family and friends. So during the trial, it was discovered that at the time when he had killed her, he had like basically really thought about like covering his tracks and told the family that the last time he saw her was on Valentine's Day, and he had left the house. They'd done cards, and then when he got home, she just wasn't there after work. He then went on local television to discuss the disappearance of Joanne, and he put on a facade, sorry,
A
to trick
focaccia.
a focaccia,
Yeah.
a facade to trick the public into thinking that he was innocent by crying in front of the cameras and appearing very visibly distressed.
This is giving me,
Com
is it Shannon Matthews vibes?
oh yeah, yeah,
You know, where they're,
absolutely.
because I mean, I presume you have to get involved in the search, don't you? And be seen to be making an appeal and whatever.
Yeah,
Otherwise, people are going to think you're guilty.
exactly, exactly. So he didn't tell the police that he was going to do this, so they had no idea that he was going to appear on TV.
Oh, so you
And
didn't even do it in conjunction with the police. He just went off his own
no,
back. Right.
yeah. Um, and it's interesting now because obviously there's actually a documentary on this as well. I think it's on Amazon Prime, and they've spoken to the police involved in it, and they've also got expert analysis to look at like his demeanor when he was doing this. And they've said that basically They can see that he's squeezing out tears and he's exaggerating his sobs.
Oh, I
So
hate him.
yeah, the police are they're sort of seeing through it now. But what's also really interesting, and I will share my screen again, but the camera, when he did this interview, also picked up crescent-shaped fingernail marks on his hands.
Mm-hmm.
Um, and they believe that these had been left by Joanne when she was desperately trying to claw her way from his clutches. So obviously he had his hands around her neck. And yeah, let me share my screen so I can show you. So this guy's like an idiot as well.
An idiot or a
Um,
total narcissist or both. You can be
Probably
both.
both. Yeah, probably both. Let me just line this up. Sorry. Let's get smoother at this.
No, that's what editing is for.
Yeah. So, sorry, it's a little bit. Let me make that smoother. So this is him crying. Share it. Share. So
Oh my
yeah,
God.
they were like, yeah, you're like fake as. And then these are his fingers. Yeah, so you can see that they're like they look like fingernails, just like small
Yeah.
marks on his fingers. So yeah, nice guy. I know. I'm sorry. I know you're hating this.
I am hating it, but I
Yeah,
asked for it.
this is
Literally
true.
asked for it when I asked you to come and join me on the podcast. So,
This is also true. Um, the police officer who was investigating Joanne's murder said that his television interview was really similar in a lot of respects to the one that he gave the police. So he didn't change his story at all. He just kept going over the same thing, which most human beings would like add something or, keep something back from the
what?
cameras or,
So it sounded like he was going off a script type thing.
basically, yeah,
Yeah.
exactly. The police officer said, although he was very distressed and very tearful, he was also really deliberate in what he said. And then he also said that they noticed, even in the interview, these marks on his hands, and that he knew from dealing with previous assaults and murders that involve strangulation that the first thing the victim will do is try and pull those hands away from their neck. And then in doing so, they can leave a crescent-shaped fingernail in the skin of the offender. And definitely they could see this, especially when the TV crew, zoomed in on his hands. And you could quite clearly see those, which see I showed you the picture of, and you can.
Yeah. Easily.
Yeah. So as well as his appearance on TV, Joanne's disappearance sparked a huge outcry from the local community and the victim's friends and family, obviously. And a huge police search began because obviously, like, all of this is going on. They still haven't found her body. They still don't know what's going on with her. And even the army got involved in the search for her. So this, as I say, happened on Valentine's Day. On March the 24th, Joanne's family received the news that they had been dreading and her body had been found.
So, like, almost a month and a half after.
Yeah. So obviously, by this stage, the police are growing really suspicious of Paul. But in a strange turn of events, it was actually Paul's mum who would hand him over to the police. He, as in Paul, made the mistake of confiding in a close friend about what he had done to Joanne. And then this friend told his mum. And she was obviously disgusted by what he had done. And she went to the police and told them.
I bet she had a fucking element of guilt as well, because if she kept from Joanne that her son had a history of violence towards his partners,
Yeah.
I wouldn't be surprised if she felt an element of guilt. And of course, it's not her fault. It's not her
No.
fault. But she was probably thinking, oh, fuck it, there's a few things I could have done
Yeah. And I think
differently.
also probably his dad and what his dad had done had an impact on that,
Yeah.
I'm sure. So once her body was recovered, obviously the investigation took on a new sense of urgency. Paul was arrested, and the case against him was not only based on the tip-off from his mum, but also forensic evidence that was linked to the crime.
His skin under her fingernails?
I don't know exactly what it was. I couldn't find that forensic detail, but I imagine so, especially if she had clawed at him. And when this was at trial, obviously the prosecution made it clear that this was murderous intent, because he didn't try and resuscitate her, he didn't try and go and get help from the neighbors, and he didn't call an ambulance. What
And
he
he
actually
disposed of
did,
her body.
yeah, what he did, he went to a nearby corner shop and he bought bin bags, rubber gloves, and disinfectant spray. Obviously, he was trying to conceal her body and any traces of killing her at their home. He then drove to his mother's and collected a garden fork in order to bury the body. When he returned from his mother's house, he actually chatted to their next door neighbor and inquired whether she'd had a good holiday. I know. And he also told the neighbor, I mean, for fuck's sake, that they were going to get another cat. And the neighbor asked if how Joanne was, and he said, "Oh yeah, she's fine." So he went back inside the house and he used string to tie together her hands and her feet. And he bundled her body into a bin bag and secured them secured the bag with tape. He then put her body in the boot of his car, sorry, and drove to a location near his work. So it was about 100 miles he drove from their home. And obviously, as I said at the beginning, he then went home and told the police that she was missing. So the police were able to establish that her death had occurred in the early hours and just after the argument had spiraled into violence. From his actions, as in the brutal killing, the disposal of her body, this painted a really chilling picture of a man who had escalated a minor domestic dispute into deadly confrontation. Just like, whoa. Apparently, he showed no emotion during the trial, and in his defense, his QC told the court that there was no excuses for what he'd done. So
His defense
it's
team
just
told.
like, yeah.
What are you going to say?
You're bang to rights, really, aren't you?
Yeah.
He was jailed for 16 years. So
Doesn't feel like enough,
2005.
though.
No,
2005. Do maths for me.
I can't do maths.
He's
There's
out.
two. Yeah.
He's out now. Fuck.
Yeah. So when he was sentencing him, the judge, Tom Cracknell, said, "You lost your temper and you throttled Joanne, a vivacious 22-year-old woman who you professed to love. Having done so, you practiced upon her body hideous indignities. You tied her up, put her inside bin liners, bundled her into the boot of your car, and then set off on a macabre. What's that word? Macabre.
Macabre. Yeah.
Macabre.
It's a great word. Macabre.
And calculated journey to find a hiding place. You left her lying in a ditch. You went on TV and displayed a nauseating hypocrisy, and you practiced this deception with her family, leading them to think that there may be some hope when there was none. The grief and torment they went through is scarcely to be imagined." So he wasn't very impressed with him.
No, that Mr. Justice was not happy with him at all.
No. So as I said, he was jailed in November 2005 and convicted to a minimum sentence of 16 years. He was released in 2022, 17 years after his initial conviction. So there was obviously an outcry about him being released. And the parole board explained that a vigorous process had been gone through, and Their decisions are solely focused on what risk a prisoner could represent to the public if released and whether that risk is manageable in the community. So then a panel will carefully examine a huge range of evidence, including details of the original crime and any evidence of behavioural change, as well as
How are they
explore
going
the...
to note behavioral change with partners while he's in prison?
Right,
How do they monitor how he is with female partners while he's in prison with presumably all men?
I know. And I mean, this is a guy whose father is I mean, I know you shouldn't judge someone by their father, but you know, you can see a pattern of events here. His father killed somebody, the son killed somebody,
And
but yet,
multiple attacks. I mean,
yeah,
I'm hoping to fuck that he has been rehabilitated. But if they're saying that part of the assessment is whether they've noticed a change in his behaviors in prison, I don't see how you can do that. Even if he manages to get a prison girlfriend, it's not like they're left alone. Do you know
no,
what I mean? It's
exactly,
not like either of them
exactly,
have to do each other's washing. That this,
yeah. But then
anyway.
they also, the parole board also said about this that so they will explore the harm done and impact that the crime has had on the victims. The victim is dead. Like
Yeah,
you
and the
can't have
family,
much more of a victim.
and I imagine if you want to include the families, obviously as some of his victims, that they're not going to be like, yeah, yeah, let him out.
No, exactly. So they did have evidence from probation officers, psychiatrists, and psychologists, officials supervising him in prison, as well as the victim personal statements that are given at the hearing. The prisoner and the witnesses are then questioned at length during the hearing, which will last for a full day or more. It's just,
Okay.
they don't know where he is now because I imagine he's probably had a change of identity and all of that other shit that they give them when they leave prison. So they don't know if he's in Hull or where he is now, but he hasn't been linked to any further crimes. So, you know, 2 years later, hopeful that
Fingers
he hasn't
crossed.
hasn't gone on to commit any other crimes.
Or he's with someone who's not reporting it.
Yeah,
Or she hasn't yet pissed him off by not doing what he wants.
he's
I mean,
watching.
fingers crossed we never fucking hear about this guy again. I will do what I always do on these cases, on every case, and set up a Google alert. Because I do that for you guys, sexy listeners. Set up Google alerts. So if there's any updates, I can let you know. Oh, John Cannon died. Sorry, I forgot to tell you guys that a few weeks ago. Covered him in one of our episodes. Susie Lampaw, one of, you remember the estate agent that disappeared when she went,
Wimbledon.
yeah, Fulham, when she went to go show a house there. And yeah, he died. Yeah, so let's hope we never hear from this fucker again and he has been rehabilitated. We would love to
Mm-hmm.
think that that's possible.
Mm-hmm. Fingers crossed. So yeah, that's my Valentine's tragic story.
Yeah, fucking hated that, Emma.
Sorry.
Yeah.
I bet you're
Glad.
right though. I bet the mum feels really fucking bad.
I mean, yeah, because the whole scenario with the father killing the lover, I'm sure she would have, no matter how little or as much as that fault lies with her, she will probably have feel some guilt there. If she's anything like most women, think everything is their own fault, high
Yeah.
anxiety. And then on top of that, to know what happened to Joanne.
Yeah. You got to feel responsible as well, don't you? Like,
Yeah, because whether you stand on the side of nurture or nature, if you're their own parent, you're kind of responsible for both to an extent, aren't you? So wherever you lie on that debate, it's you. Huh?
yeah, yeah,
So, oh, that's fucking chilling though, isn't it?
yeah,
We have the domestic violence cases are really fucking tough, aren't they? Because,
yeah,
so many people think like, oh, how could they be so stupid or whatever? But these people, these manipulators are fucking good at what they do. And they know how
yeah,
to come in. We've all been there. Find me one woman who's not been in a relationship that's been not been at least slightly abusive, and not talking about physically necessarily, but controlling, financial control, emotional abuse, like all sorts,
Yeah.
most of us sadly have had some experience of that, and I'm sure men have as well. This isn't like a men versus women thing, but in terms of domestic violence, we are normally the victims, and it sucks.
Yeah. And
And
it's
it
it's
sucks.
it's that accumulation of, isn't it? It's like, it starts off with the emotional abuse, start and make you feel stupid, make you feel that
Hmm.
you're not like worthy, all of that.
Yeah,
It's like, then sort of get you away from your friends, make you really isolated,
yeah,
and then, you know, I
exactly.
mean,
That's it. If you feel someone trying to isolate you from your friends and your family, and if they start treating you in a way that you stop telling your friends and your family because you kind of don't want to hear it from them, normally
yeah,
that means they're doing something is not right.
yeah.
But yeah.
You
And we
realize if that
have,
shit ever happened to you, I'd fucking stab them.
yeah, that's why I'm not worried. Um, I would like to say that we have a lot of resources on our website for people in difficult situations like this. So do check that out. And if you have any recommendations of other organizations or websites or whatever that you think we should put on there, we are really happy to add to that, because it's super important. And sometimes people have no idea where to even begin to turn. So let us know.
Yeah,
Fucking hell, Emma.
sorry.
Lighten the mood?
Yes, please.
Okay, first of all, could someone please apply to motherfucking date us, please?
I mean, this is even more tragic than our dating lives.
That we're having to beg. Yes, it
Yeah.
is very, very depressing, because today we've had to resort to me filling in the application form. Me. So, do you want to hear
I
my
assume you,
application?
yes, and I assume you're applying to date me, or are you applying to date yourself as well?
Yeah, I'm applying to date both of us, because you should date yourself as well, right? You should treat
That's
yourself.
true. That is
Yeah,
true.
and I like doing that with you also, because I love dating you too. We go
Yeah,
on great dates together.
we
We're going to
do.
Winter Wonderland on Thursday, and it's going to be so super special and romantic.
Can't
I'm
wait for
gonna
it.
I'm gonna hold your hand. I have I
Yay!
have mittens, and I'm gonna hold your hand.
I love this. I think we should have, I know you need to book it, but we should have booked ice skating, and then we could have been all
No,
romantic going around the ice skate rink.
no, because we would not be going around the. We would be going around the ice rink on our faces. On our faces. I would anyway.
I would
Right.
too.
So my age is 41. Yes, I am.
Yay.
Do you remember? Ugh, we went out recently. Do you remember that young chap that was? We went out in Kingston. Oh my God, how do we not even start with this? We went out in Kingston after our Christmas drinks for our skate club, and me and Emma decided we wanted to go out for more drinks. We couldn't get into Prism, formerly known as Oceana, because we didn't have our IDs. We are literally in our 40s. And
We
okay, it
literally
wasn't,
could have given birth to most of your clientele, like
yeah.
seriously.
And to be fair, sadly, it wasn't that we didn't look 18. It was because you have to scan the IDs and blah, blah, blah. But I just thought it was fucking hilarious, because the amount of times I've been to that venue underage with no ID, and now I'm 41, they're fucking asking me for ID and denying me entry. Like, do you want to see my mortgage statements? I'm 41. Anyways, it got to the point where they're like, why do you even want to come in here? And to be fair, let it go on record with respect, Prism is a shithole. Boycott Prism,
Yeah, for not letting
allegedly.
us in. But,
Anyways, so whatever, they're
just
lost.
wanted the music. Yeah.
Yeah. We drank a lot that night, so they lost out, literally. So instead, we went to Bacchus, which I think is now owned by Banquet Records. I might be wrong, but congratulations if I'm right. And Emma was super popular with the Bulgarians in the house that night, or Romanians. Romanians, sorry, my apologies.
Romanians, yeah. Yeah.
Yeah. And various other random men trying to approach her, of which I have never seen such strong stink eye from anyone.
From me,
Yeah, because
I
we
had
were
the
just
biggest fuck off on my face. I was like, don't come near me, seriously. Like,
And
why are
what
you
is wrong
touching
with me?
me? Fuck
But this
off.
guy, I think I had the worst guy hitting on me in
Yeah,
that he literally put
yeah.
his arms around me and would not let go of me physically. And I told him, like, I am literally old enough to be your mother. And he said he was 25. And I was like, yep. And he was like, wow, you don't look that old. It's like, that is not the compliment you think it is. And also, get your fucking paws off me. And he was like, go on, just a peck, just a peck. I was like, fuck off. Are you begging me to make out with you? What? Fuck off.
I should have come and saved you, really, but I was enjoying it.
I mean, in hindsight, it was quite funny, but you know, when you're just like, ew.
Yeah, that was an ooh moment. It's like, why
Yeah.
can't we just go and dance and not be
Mm-hmm.
manhandled?
Mm-hmm. That's why we should have gone to the fighting cocks because all the men in there are too nervous of girls. They're all too nerdy and adorable to ever approach a woman, let alone
Yeah,
force themselves on them.
this is
So,
true.
but next time we go out late night drinking, it's my call where we go. So, woohoo!
I'm gonna fucking go to prison as I've never been, and I need to go. And I know I'm gonna be surrounded by 21-year-olds. It's gonna be Benidorm all over again.
No,
But
no, it's
I
not that
feel
you're going to
like,
be surrounded by 21-year-olds. It's that you're going to be surrounded by 21-year-old dickheads.
yeah, I mean, yeah, most
Have
21-year-olds
you
are
thought why they
dickheads.
have to scan the IDs? It's so they know who's there when they need to call witnesses for
I,
the fucking fight.
I know.
People have died in there. That's why they rebranded.
To be fair, I think it's pretty standard that like in most nightclubs you go into, you have to have
I know,
physical ID.
I
So,
know, but people have died there. Legit, legit have died.
uh,
Anyways,
maybe that should be my next case.
could be. It could be. So, location, T-dubs. I've written that because I'm cool.
T-dubs.
T-dubs. What's in your fridge right now? Nothing, because this one time I went to Sicily and I haven't stocked up yet, but there are frozen mice in my freezer.
Priorities.
Yeah, that's for my snake, not for me. I'm vegetarian. Do you have any royal blood? No, but I act like I do.
Nice. Can I just also say that even you saying not for me, I mean, I'm not vegetarian and I wouldn't eat frozen mice.
Okay,
You
just wanted to
fucking weirdo.
clarify. Not everyone knows I have a snake, and they might be wondering what the frozen mice are for, right? I have a snake, Bumblebee Tuna. He's the best snake in the whole world. Favorite Ninja Turtle and why? I want to say Leonardo or
Mhm.
Donatello, but I'd probably date Michelangelo and marry grumpy, moody Raphael.
Fair enough.
Mhm. Perfect first date with Emma watching the challenge with Prosecco and Bulldogs.
Yay.
Mm-hmm.
Or Winter Wonderland.
Or Winter Wonderland, yeah. Weird fact about you, I have an honor from the Queen, and I've been to her garden party.
Hang on. I
Mm-hmm.
didn't know that.
You don't know I have letters after my name, baby girl.
No.
Yeah, I
How did I
am.
not know this?
I am Deanna Safier M. St. J.
What does
Oh
that
yeah,
mean?
a member of the Order of St. John. So I got that in to because of my contributions to the Order of St. John, which is the charity, which is the sort of in recognition of St. John, the ambulance.
Mhm.
And also, I specifically got mine for the contributions towards St. John in Palestine, which is what the charity was originally set up for. So we have a hospital group in Palestine under the name of St. John. And I got, yeah, because I did a lot of work for
I
them.
mean,
So bit,
I knew all of that in terms of the work that you'd done and everything. I did not know that you had gone to the garden party and had letters after your name.
yeah, I do.
What
Yes,
does that
I
get
do.
you? Because you know,
Nothing.
like
Oh,
MBEs and OBEs and stuff gets you shit.
that's it. Get you shit. Hmm.
Yeah, you can get
Um,
married in St. Paul's.
okay, not something I want. I think I actually can do that. Ooh, I
Yeah,
think I could. Although
you
I
can get
never want to
married in
get
St.
married
Paul's.
again. Can I
Let's
marry
get married
you?
in yeah. Let's get married in some. Oh, do you reckon they'll allow a lesbian couple? Let's look
I'll,
into it because
I'll
that's
find
worth
out
doing just for that.
just for the sake of it. Yeah. Some things I like.
Wait, you didn't look as happy about that as I thought you would.
Oh no, it's more St. Paul's. I'd rather
Oh,
find out what other kind of shit I get and do
okay.
that. Some things you like. My friends, animals, TV, my family, books, traveling, strongman.
Nice.
Some things I hate, being told what to do.
Too
What are you
right.
watching on TV right now? Drive to Survive, so I can impress Emma with my Formula One knowledge. Although I've actually finished that now, and I'm on to NASCAR.
Oh yeah, I need to start watching that.
Oh, so good. Uh, Last time you cheated on your taxes, ongoing, but not in this country. So don't worry your pretty little head about it. That's it. That's my application. What
What
do you
about
think?
your crazy exes?
I've just said that I have crazy exes. And yes, they are crazy because of me, but also because of them.
Fair enough.
It's collaboration. Joint
I like it.
project.
You're taking responsibility for your actions.
Yeah. Yeah. What do I get out
You
of
get
10?
100.
Mhm. Okay, so I'm winning
Yes,
and we're
by
getting
far.
married at St.
Yes.
Paul's. Is there anywhere else?
I don't know. I just randomly know it about St. Paul's because I attended a wedding there once upon a time. So,
Yeah. I mean, I get invited to the Saint Order of St. John's service, I think 24th of June, and I can bring a +1 if you want to go to that. But that's like
yeah.
fucking church service. I
Will the
haven't
king
been.
be there?
Sometimes he's the sovereign head of the Order of St. John.
There you go.
So, interesting fact. As we know, my home country, Palestine, completely ravaged by crusaders and whatnots with good intentions sent by God. And one of the groups of nuns and monks that used to go over there was members of the Order of St. John. And they were hospitaller knights. So they were knights, but they weren't monks. They were knights, but they were hospitaller knights, which meant that they would set up hospitals along the route to Jerusalem because people used to walk and do their pilgrimage to Jerusalem on foot, which would take them between 6 months and 2 years. So they needed fucking
Jeez.
hospitals along the way. And sometimes when they got to Jerusalem, they were fucking out of it. So the Hospitaller Knights of St. John set up hospitals along the routes and in Palestine. But they also, what I like about them, because my first instinct is to be like, fucking crusaders, fuck off out of my country. I don't want your honor. But they set up these hospitals that also treated locals. So it wasn't just for the expats, the crusaders, you know what I mean?
Hmm.
The migrants. It was also for the locals. And they were really advanced. Like they used to use like silver plates and cutlery and stuff. And they didn't know this about it, but it's because it was antibacterial. Just had a visitor.
I heard,
And
hello.
yeah, so then they all got kicked out of the country by, I believe, the Ottomans, all of the Christians and so forth. They ended up in Malta for a bit. So Malta has a big St. John history. They were in Rhodes for a bit. And then they got exiled from all of those places and all went back to their home countries. And a lot of them in their home countries set up their own little orders of St. John, which is why we have like St. John Ambulance here in the UK and so forth. So wherever they set up, it was like healthcare charity, but doing different things like first aid training, ambulances, hospitals, hospices. Some of them run kindergartens, all kinds of stuff. So yeah, that's why you have the St. John hospitals in Jerusalem and Palestine. They actually expanded, and there's a hospital in Gaza, which is obviously out of action at the moment, severely damaged by the war. And a bunch of other hospitals, nurse training, medical training, mobile outreach units that go into like remote areas and set up clinics in the middle of nowhere.
Hmm.
It's amazing, amazing organization. So I'm going to put the
Yeah.
link in the show notes if anyone wants to, during this festive season, support a worthwhile cause in the Holy Land during this difficult period. That's a good one.
Yeah.
But yeah, St. Paul's, not really very religious. Both
No.
me and Isla got our we both got invested into the order at the same time. And I didn't sing the hymns and stuff in the service because I'm not religious. I don't believe it. I'll show respect. I'll stand up. I'll sit down, whatever, but I'm not singing the words. I'm not saying the prayers. Um, Isla, she's not religious either, but she was singing along and saying the prayers. And I was like, you don't have to. Like, if you don't want to, just stay silent. And she was like, no, 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 it's fine. I'm saying cod instead of God. And it's like, you do realize that's far more offensive, swearing your allegiance to cod.
I mean, why not?
Made me laugh. All right. So on that note, Isla, we love you in your shop. I have to take you to the shop. Should we do a jolly to
Yeah.
York soon? Let's do it in
Yes,
January
please.
because it's boring.
Yeah,
All right, cool.
we
We'll go
hate
with Helen.
February.
Hi, Helen. We love you.
Well, she never listens to this, but we love her anyway.
We love her anyways, but it would be nice if she listened to this. And if she did, she'll hear that we love her. And hello. Here. Why
Why
are
is
you
she
grumbling?
growling?
Do you need a wee? Is it because Trump is an asshole? That's
Yes.
the one.
Yeah.
Lola, do we hate Trump? Do we hate Trump? High five if we hate Trump. All right. On that note, love you. Love our sexy listeners so much.
So much.
So much. They're all invited to our wedding at St. Paul's. It can fit. Love you. Bye.
Love you,
Bye.
bye.
Bye.